Ever since an ICE officer in Minnesota killed Renee Good, a 37-year-old mother of 3, the internet has been flooded with videos of shocking ICE abuses like this one.
Exhibit A, a mother killed. Exhibit B, videos of force with no charges. As public outrage grows, ICE stands accused, not by politics, but by evidence. Court is in session.
Please, I can get up my police before I'm disabled trying to go to the doctor up there. That's why
So it's obviously very hard to hear what everyone's saying there because there's honking and screaming. But what the woman says is, I've been beat up by police before. I'm disabled. I'm trying to go to the doctor up there. That's why I couldn't move. I'm an autistic, disabled person. I'm trying to go to the doctor. And in response, ICE smashes her window, cuts her seatbelt, drags her out of the car, and arrests her. And this happened, I think, 2 blocks from where Renee Good was shot 6 days later. So this is the lesson these ICE officers are learning, John. Double down. Attack autistic people.
They are terrorizing Minneapolis right now. There is like a 6-to-1 ratio of ICE and CBP agents to Minneapolis police. And I don't know how many more fucking videos we have to watch at this point. And every single time there's a video, you see the MAGA chuds on social media picking it apart. Well, she was trying to do this, and then DHS put out a statement on this. She tried to wedge her car between officers. You can clearly see the fear in that woman's face. She's not a protester. She wasn't trying to do anything. She was scared, shitless, even before they pulled her out of the car. The other thing I thought about watching that is, oh gee, I wonder why Renee Good tried to drive away when the officers were screaming at her. Because this woman, she's tried to drive away because they told her to move, and then as she went 10 feet in the car, they smashed the window and dragged her out of the fucking car. Did they charge her with anything? No, they didn't charge her with anything because they're not charging people with anything. Just like the kid in Target that they beat the shit out of and then threw out of the van like 100 feet away from Target. So these people aren't committing crimes. They can continue to say it's obstruction, it's impeding arrest. Well, then fucking charge people with that. But you're not, because you're just beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, this is important. I think like these new ICE recruits are totally unqualified. There's this incredible story on Slate where this journalist signed up to be an ICE officer. They did no vetting of this person. They failed the drug test. It's like clearly like an online, like random person. They just got accepted into ICE. Like the people who are joining ICE right now are joining because they want to beat the shit out of people. Because you are licensed by the state to use violence against, in this case, American citizens. And that is why people are scared to death of ICE.
King Klippenstein got hold of some DHS memos that went out to officers ICE officers in Minneapolis to just like let them know what they're supposed to be doing, what the law is. Here's what's not a violation, according to a DHS memo that went out in Minneapolis. Here's what's not a violation of the law. Telling ICE agents to go fuck themselves, swearing at them, flipping off ICE agents, yelling at ICE agents, filming ICE agents, refusal to cooperate with ICE agents' demands, and disobeying commands without fighting back. Force is obviously against the law. All that other stuff I just said, according to DHS, is not against the law, and yet they are continuing to physically assault people over that.
Including American citizens. The only good news is that this story is breaking through like very few political stories do. Our friend Peter Hamby over at Puck News had a great breakdown of both the polling and the kind of social virality of these horrifying videos just like this one. But there was a poll out by The Economist and YouGov that found that 69% of Americans had seen the video of the shooting of Renee Good. Of those who saw the clip, a majority, 50%, said the shooting was not justified. Only 30% said the killing was justified. So again, this narrative you're seeing online that like, oh, this is a political Rorschach test and everyone just views this through a partisan lens, it's not really true. The majority of the country is like, this is horrifying. And this is clearly driving down favorability of ICE across the country with all kinds of voters. Now, here is one example. This is a clip from a recent episode of Joe Rogan. So folks know, like, Joe Rogan was, he endorsed Trump in the last election. He's he's mostly just a low information voter who tends to be independent and not all that well informed. But this is what he said about the shooting of Renee Good and ICE's, actions throughout the country. Let's watch.
I think after that woman was shot, I think, unfortunately, well, everything's unfortunate about it, right? But one of the real problems is now ICE are villains. And now people are looking at them like murderous military people that are on the streets of our city, and they're masked up, which is also a problem, right? Because if you get arrested by a cop, you're allowed to ask the cop, what is your name and badge number? And you could film that cop. If you get arrested by an ICE agent, you have no such right. They're wearing a mask. They don't have to tell you shit. That's a problem. That's a problem on our city streets, right? Because you could also pretend to be an ICE agent. You don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to?
Again, I think great example of how I don't actually think this is a partisan issue. I think overwhelming majorities of the country don't want masked, anonymous federal law enforcement officials coming to your home, beating up American citizens, beating up anybody, demanding papers. Like this, what is happening with ICE right now is the Alex Jones fever dream that he's been ranting about on the radio in Austin for decades. It is coming to life. And the good news is it is breaking through with some elements of the conservative world.
Yeah, I've seen now maybe 4 or 5 polls, mix of public polls and some private polling as well. And I was actually just surprised by the remarkable consistency in all of the polling. In just about every poll, every way you ask the question, only about a third, 1 in 3 people polled thinks there's any kind of justification for what happened to Renee Good, likes ICE, thinks that Renee Good was a domestic terrorist, thinks that ICE is doing a good job, thinks that they should be able to do what they're doing without a warrant. And overwhelmingly, over 50% in all those polls, people think that this is fucking horrendous. And if you break down by party, obviously more Republicans think this is fine. It's still like 2/3 of Republicans that think it's fine. And for independents, overwhelming. There's like 15-20% of independents in all these polls that think it's okay. So this is, and I think that's why we're seeing people like Joe Rogan speak out against it.
Yeah, and by the way, the latest Gallup survey showed the number of people identifying as independents is skyrocketing in this country, right? So that's a very important metric. Let's watch one last clip from another conservative. And he's not really a conservative commentator. This is Tim Dillon. He's a comedian and podcaster. He was pro-Trump in the last election, but has since broken with him on a number of issues like the Epstein files. And then this is him talking about these ICE raids. Let's watch.
Then you have ICE, and who the hell are they? We don't even know. These are people that answered an ad on Craigslist. These people, who is joining ICE? These people are so shot. The people who are joining ICE are so shot. They don't have anything going on. These are people who a mole threw out because they couldn't do security at a mall. They I don't know what they did, but they're out now. They maybe attacked a child or something. So I don't know who's, they got ICE in there.
I love that clip because I do think humor is one of the best ways you chop down an authoritarian. We do not have to pretend that these ICE officers who are brutalizing American citizens or brutalizing people that they're trying to deport from the country deserve our respect, that they know what they're doing, that they're professional, that they are trained, that they're acting in a way that is remotely appropriate. They are thugs. They are, as Tim Dillon said later in that clip, they are people who got rejected from the backyard wrestling circuit. But what Stephen Miller wants is to send them to our cities, to send them to liberal cities, to pick fights with American citizens to further justify his crackdown. That is the goal here.
In that Slate piece that you referenced earlier, that reporter who tried to apply for ICE, she's former Army. She served 2 tours in Afghanistan, and she goes, before she did it online, she went to one of the recruitment fairs that they're having for ICE, and so she was with a bunch of other people who asked questions of the recruiters, and it's really worth reading the whole piece piece, because they're saying things like, you know, you go into these liberal cities and some of these protesters are forming a human wall, and then you know what you do? You just pop them. You pop them with some tear gas and let them cry and disperse and figure it out. Who cares? And then, you know, they're asked, she's applying, and they're like, well, you know, you might have to do some paperwork first. Everyone who applies for this job, they want to immediately go out on the streets and just start arresting people and tackling people. But you got to you got to wait a little bit until you get to that one. But don't worry, we'll get you out on the streets with a badge soon enough. Like, it's just, it's so fucking unprofessional. It is so gross.
It is sickening. And again, you know, sometimes in the Trump era, there's this sentiment you'd see online. It was like, lol, nothing matters, right? Like, nothing will change his approval rating. Nothing will change the approval of the public. So again, this is from Peter Hamby's piece on Puck. After Trump's inauguration, ICE had a plus 16 net favorability rating with Americans, according to YouGov. Now the agency is underwater with a negative 14-point favorability rating. That is a 30-point swing since January. These videos matter. Your activism matters. People talking about this, sharing these stories, calling your member of Congress, it really, really matters. And by the way, that's why, you know, independent media matters. That's why, you know, we're doing what we do here at Crooked Media. So thank you for watching this. Thank you for subscribing to Pod Save America on YouTube. It really helps a lot, because there's a lot of right-wing shit in the YouTube algorithm trying to justify the execution of a mom in Minneapolis for trying to drive away from an ICE thug. And we're trying to build a progressive media company where we get you factual information, we get you progressive information, and we reach people that actually are persuadable, because it really does matter. So thank you for watching this. Thank you for, you know, listening to Pod Save America. Consider being a subscriber. Go to crooked.com/friends if you want to do even more. And I don't know, John, any final thoughts on what we watched here?
No, it is really important to share these videos. And I also, I said this on the pod the other day, but if you are someone with a big following especially, but even a small following, and you've been quiet up till now, I understand all the reasons for that, but it is really important to speak out and to let everyone else in the country know, because I do think that, like, speaking out becomes contagious. It's to let everyone else in the country know that you don't think this is okay. And you don't have to get in politics, you don't have to wave the flag for Democrats, but you can at least just speak out right now, because it's dangerous and it's getting worse.
The verdict from the public is clear. Fear without accountability erodes trust. When force replaces law, legitimacy collapses. And once that line is crossed, silence becomes complicity.